We have with us the Senior Director of World Trade Center, Mumbai, Rupa Naik. Thank you so much for joining us, ma'am. This is like a special edition that we're doing. I'm running this organization called New Sense, and we would like to really talk about women's rights. And since Women's Day is fast approaching, none better than you to honor us on New Sense. Ma'am, first I'll be talking about, a little about the economy. We have been through one of the most difficult times. And how do you see the economy recovering? Because many of the experts are predicting that by 2022, India is well on the road to recovery. Do you really subscribe to that theory?
Uh, yes, Pratibha, I do subscribe to that theory because when I look around, I see that there is a great growth, and particularly with this online business taking over, I can see that there's so much business coming into the country, as well as our people are able to put business. And our women entrepreneurs, I've realized in this lockdown period, they were so shy of all this online and, selling through Amazon or, WhatsApp and all. Now they have just taken over and they're very happy doing it because they can do their business from home.
True that. You had earlier said that the MSME suppliers must be paid their dues, especially by large companies. Do you think that the government has really devised a mechanism for this and helped the MSMEs so far?
Actually, there is a mechanism and I think it is working. There is also one where the government is insisting that some 2% or something of their procurement has to be done from women entrepreneurs. Right. But how many of our women entrepreneurs really know about it, and how many of them produce those products? And are they able to get in touch with these public sector units, government agencies? I really have no idea. But I know for sure that there are a lot of different policies which the government has come up with. Not recently, even before there were so many policies, and they're very very encouraging and inspiring for women to come into business. Also, I'm looking at it now that earlier women were in very traditional sectors like garments or, handicrafts and all. But now I can see that most of them are also coming into very challenging sectors.
Do you think that, it's one thing to become an entrepreneur and, get into an activity and take up the challenges, but another thing to change mindsets. How are people really reacting to women entrepreneurs especially? Is it the same? Because, as a journalist, I know the challenges that I face as a woman. Is it the same case with new entrepreneurs too?
No, I don't see that. I see that women entrepreneurs are really well respected, accepted by the society. Even if they go to a bank, I'm sure that they're getting, because so far, like I deal with at least, I would say easily about 2,000 to 3,000 women entrepreneurs. And most of them, till date, nobody has told me the problem that they face is because they're a woman.
Do you think that India, I think you did mention that India has untapped export potential, especially in fields like handloom as well as export of electronic goods. Do you still think that India hasn't really tapped into that market?
We haven't tapped into it because now with this new budget, the customs duty on so many products has been raised. These are all products which can be made by Indian MSMEs. Earlier, it was cheaper to buy it from overseas, from maybe Korea or Taiwan or China or any of the countries. Today, when the custom duties go up, it means that your home industry can grow. And this is a huge list. In fact, we have made a representation on this particular thing to the government, that it's a very good thing that they have raised the customs duty on these products. Only by import substitution can you make our industry grow.
So does that mean that India need not feel threatened, especially with its ties with China, while they're boycotting China's goods too?
At any point of time, India need not get threatened with anything. We have such a huge domestic market. We have our own demand with us. All you need to do is to encourage entrepreneurs to come into the foray and make it really easy for them to do business. Like there is something in China which is called investors aftercare. We need that in India. You need not be a big time investor. You need not be a foreign investor. You can be an investor from your own state. What are you doing to make sure that his investment is really looked after well? Is the government taking the right policies? Is the government giving him whatever he needs to make sure that his business actually thrives? There are so many hurdles for an entrepreneur which need to be really done away with.
Ma'am, a little about your personal journey. I mean, I'm sure to get to what you are today must have come with its fair share of challenges.
I come from Karnataka. I'm from a small place called Karwar.
Oh, lovely.
So my education was in Karwar, and I must say that I have a great, love for my state. Even though now I'm a complete Maharashtrian, but I still love my little Karwar as much as I loved it even then. My challenges were not because I was a woman. My challenges were because at that point of time, trade organizations really had to go through a complete 360-degree change because liberalization came in. So from a protectionist policy, we went to a liberalized policy. So suddenly the importance of a trade organization changed completely. It was up to the trade organization to inform its members what they should be knowing, how they should go look outside their own region and start doing business globally. So it was a different era, completely different era. Today, you can just probably just pick up a call and you call anybody in the US. It was not so easy then.
You are now going to be the chief guest. You're invited as the chief guest to one of the events where a lot of these artists from all over the world are partaking in this Women's Day special artist organization that is partaking in this event. How do you see that? I mean, how do you see art as an expression of, women's rights?
What do we have if we don't have art?
Sure.
Any form of art. It could be in motion, or it could be in music, or it could be in paintings. It could be in any form. Art is art. So we are naturally drawn towards art. And what Sanjukta is doing is a great job. She's trying to bring artists from around the world to come onto a platform and showcase their different arts. It's not so easy for us to understand the mind of the artist. So you need to look at that artist and you need to look at his painting and understand that there's something huge into it. There's a story.
That's truly lovely. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful because I'm also an ardent lover of art. So I guess we share the same thoughts on it. But one closing question. I wanted to know, since you spoke about how the policies have evolved from being very protectionist to now being very liberal in its attitude, do you think, what are your thoughts on the farmers' laws?
This is a real political issue where I don't know why it has taken the turn what it has taken. So now the court has asked them to wait. It's given them enough time to let the government work out on some module which will be acceptable. So maybe they should listen to what the court is saying. It's not that they've gone against them. They should wait, hang on, and then wait for what the court decides. And the government has also assured them that they've taken some time to look out and work out a model which will be acceptable to them. So I think it's just been blown out of proportion by everybody.
We close with that. Thank you so much for joining us, ma'am. I look forward to meeting you at the event as well. I'm sure it's going to be online, but look forward to that. Thanks a lot.